Hello, everyone. I'm Alison, and welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Survivor 37, David versus Goliath. What an amazing episode. Tonight, as always, I have Tyler Lyons with me, and I am so excited. We have RHAP, Rob Has a Podcast, one and only Brent Wolgamott with us.
Hey!
So
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It's really cool to be here. I don't get to talk Survivor a lot, usually mainly when we just do a check-in at the mid-season or when we do a draft with Taryn and Melissa. So it's really great to talk Survivor. This was a plentiful 2 episodes of Survivor tonight. So I'm excited to talk with you guys. And then maybe at the end we can bitch a little bit about Big Brother because I like Big Brother.
Yes.
Oh, we are so ready for that. But first, I just want to say thank you, Brent, for coming on the show. We're big fans of Rob Has a Podcast and all like the hard work that you guys do. And I listened to your LFC draft, and I am Team Skins all the way. So
all right.
I'm rooting for you.
Yes.
So hopefully you come out on top this time. So
well, it was a little rough because like both of the people that I had on my team, Alison and Carl, I got Carl by default. Let me just say,
yeah, right.
But they were up for eviction tonight. So
yeah,
I was going to lose somebody either way, but I am hopeful that in the end I will triumph. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm really liking Dr. Allison so far, and her edit seems to be getting like a lot more complex as we're going along. So maybe there's hope there. So we'll see what happens. But let's break down like everything that happened because we have a lot to unpack with these 2 hours of episodes. I feel like this is like our like Super Bowl of like the Survivor season in terms of like how much content like and how excited we are for these type of nights. So
yeah. By the way, you guys have a chat room, right?
Yeah, we've got it open, and I'm looking at it right now.
I'm gonna bring that up while you guys open the show here.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. So we immediately get back to camp, and of course, Angelina in Angelina fashion confronts everybody. You know, she's asking like who voted them out, and it's in front of the entire group. You know, this is conversations that you should be having one-on-one with people instead. To just like literally go up to people that are sitting down, just like taking a break from like a stressful night and saying, who voted me out? You know, probably not the best way to go about that.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I have to say. I mean, I thought it was an emotional outburst by her. She was pissed. She got her name written down. You could see it when she left Tribal the previous week. My Alison, not the Alison on the show, Alison Kelly, the host of the show. You could see it on her face. She was pissed. She wanted to who voted for her. Who basically it was like Rupert in Pearl Islands. Who wrote my name down? Who wrote my name down? Yeah.
Seriously, this girl is nuts, and like I feel like every single tribal council, she finds like a new inventive way of burying herself. And it's really a skill that I don't know that I want if I were to ever play Survivor, but it's crazy. This girl is just nuts from head to toe. And then of course we see like Nick and Davie, they go out looking for advantages, and Nick finds the idol clue and shows Davie. Now a note that I had is like I think that he should have kept this note to himself instead of sharing it with Davie, because we're getting like to the late stage in the game now where we. You know, you need to start thinking past like your alliance. You need to start thinking more about yourself and how to get yourself to the end. You know, you could still be like with Davie in that alliance, but you can kind of hold this idol close to the chest, which is usually what people do on Survivor. But this season has kind of been the outlaw in terms of that, in terms of like sharing all this information and stuff.
It always gets me how people go look for this shit together. Yeah. I don't want anyone following me anywhere. I don't care if you're my best friend in the game. Shoo, I'm going to tell you, I'm not telling you I'm looking. I'm going to take a shit. Unless you want to watch me, go away. Don't follow me.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't know what it is. I think the advents of the last 2 tribals where the Goliaths were, you know, sitting on the throne and deciding who was going to go home from the Davids, and the Davids, of course, fought back and got it to 5-5. I think that has really brought the Davids together at that point, to a point where they trusted each other implicitly. I think that Nick, from his point of view, he has 2 options at that point in time. He can go with Davie and Carl to the final 3, or he can go with Gabby and Christian Christian and the Mason-Dixon alliance. So, and Nick has options at that point in the game. I think that he was probably locked in with Carl and Davie. As we saw the 2 episodes go along, it became clear to me that Mason-Dixon isn't what it used to be. So I feel like that he was really, really in with him. In fact, Angelina maybe even possibly could have gotten into a final 3, and she may ultimately get into a final 3. But it's not going to be with Carl and Davie or some alignment thereof. That's where I thought this season was starting to head, was a Carl, Davie, Angelina final 3, and I'm glad to see that Carl is now out of the game. I was not a fan of you, Carl. You were fun, but the minute you got power, you were absolutely insufferable. Like, I was rooting for you up until tonight, and then when I saw you like sitting in your hammock, having people come by and kiss your ring, I was just like, I was done with you. Like, how are you acting like that?
I mean, that shot of him like laying down and he's like drinking and his like one eye that's open is like rolling over. I'm like, this is why you don't drink at all on Survivors, because you start getting sloppy, you start getting stupid, and you start saying things that you probably shouldn't be saying.
Well, he didn't have to be drunk to do that, because he was doing that prior to winning the challenge, just popping off at the mouth, just Carl doing this the whole time. I mean, shut up already.
Before that, it started like at that tribal council when he was like, ding, he wanted everybody on the jury to know. And we had like a couple times where we cut to the jury and they were not impressed with Carl. Like, they were like saying like side comments and rolling their eyes at him and stuff like that. So even if he didn't go tonight, I think that like the jury was pretty sour on him to begin with.
Well, Deborah and I called it last week. We said, watch this. Carl is going to get cocky. He's going to get cocky after that ding. You watch, ding, ding, cocky time. And you saw it tonight.
Yeah, we saw it tonight. I was really surprised that it was like a 9-1 vote. I really thought, on the off chance that he has an idol, because his name really was never brought up before, so he would have had no reason to play the idol. I feel like that I would have at least thrown a vote onto somebody else, but they were obviously confident about it, and they got through it. To me, the big takeaway from these 2 episodes is the fact that Gabby put her foot down, and Christian went with her. Mason-Dixon maybe can be resurrected, but it's not. I mean, this is the first time Nick's been on the wrong side of the boat, let's be real. And that cannot be a good feeling for him. I'm actually really psyched to see how he plays now, from being in a position of power to sort of having to maybe not scramble, but he's had one, put over on him now, and that doesn't feel good in Survivor. So I'm very, I loved, obviously I get the reason why they chose these 2 episodes specifically to play back to back. The first episode, they tried to make something out of, maybe I can keep Alec, Christian saying maybe I can do that, but he would have needed a bunch of other people to go along with that thing. The real drama was in the second episode and the realignment of the people in the game.
Absolutely. Like it really brought me back to the days of like Survivor Cambodia, like the voting blocks instead of alliances. I feel like that's like where we were kind of headed, because, look at like the people that voted together and had the majority tonight. They were like, once what was the strike force, minus Nick, they all kind of banded back together really. But that's not going to be like a long-term thing probably. Well, it's not, because we see in like the preview for next week that Gabby already wants to take out Christian, which I don't think is.
I'm just like, how real can that be? Like, I mean, I guess maybe I can buy it a little bit. I get wanting to take out your #1 ally, because that gives you ownership over your own game. Because if she gets to the end with Christian, it's just going to look like, oh, well, Christian did all the work. Of course, we know differently. I mean, she had a lot of input into the way things went, but they're going to look at it like and give him all the credit, and that's unfair. And so she knows she's playing to a jury, and she has to account for that. But anyways, that's next week. We don't even know what's going to happen. But I'm still not convinced it's going to happen.
I don't know how much you follow like the edit and really like analyze that, Brent, but
I follow the edit.
So you notice how, like, I figured you would, but you notice how like Nick was on the wrong side of the vote tonight, and they really kind of like, the edit really shielded him from looking like the dodo here. Like they really played up like the dumb edit for like Carl and Davie tonight, but Nick was like pretty much silent like in the second episode. So I thought that was interesting.
There was one shot of him at Tribal once the votes came down of him looking like, huh? Like, I mean, it was obvious that he was on the wrong side of the vote. So, I guess maybe you can give him a little bit, in terms of, maybe they're throwing Nick a bone there by trying to not make it look as bad as it is. Maybe he ultimately comes back from this. I mean, I'm trying to read between the lines here. Do you think that Nick is in it for the long haul? Do you think that Nick is going to be in the final 3?
I think so. I think that the final 3 is going to be, well, I think Angelina, like, go ahead and like sign, seal, deliver, like send that goat to the final 3.
Really? You think so?
Now.
See, I don't think so, but go ahead. Yeah. So Angelina, you think Angelina, you think Nick, and who else?
Probably Christian. I think that like we saw tonight, like those letters from home, like at the reward challenge was a prime example of like Christian having that kind of winner story. They cut to Alison like crying for like literally 1 second, and she gets like barely a shot of her like reading the letter out loud, and then we get this huge storm of emotions from Christian, talking about like, oh, my dad said that like I needed to do these 3 things and I accomplished them. Like it was a really like magical moment for him, and I could just see like that story being there for Christian to.
Allison, I thought that I don't know about you, but I thought that was his swan song. Like I was nervous when I saw Christian say, "I basically accomplished everything I wanted to do on Survivor, and here I am."
I thought for sure he was going to fall off that pole. I have no fingernails left. I'm not kidding. I'm a huge Christian fan, and he's nerdy and I'm a big nerd. So I can kind of identify with him a little bit, because listen, my ramblings would make someone want to shoot themselves. I'm serious. And the look on Alec's face is like, I've seen that look before when I've gone on and on and on about something. I mean, seriously, Tyler,
I make that look every week on this show.
Yeah, Tyler's guilty. But I wanted to say something real quick. Angelina being the GOAT, I was totally buying into that last week and before. And now, after the whole her being the sacrificial lamb for some damn rice, I think that has shifted the tide a little bit. I don't think I would want to take that GOAT now, because she could bring that up, right?
Yeah, but I'm ultimately a believer in the fact that it's the Sandra Diaz twine. Sandra Diaz, she just did a interview on RHAP after not being on RHAP for a couple different seasons, and her and Rob were talking about the fact that ultimately in Survivor, do you vote for who has the biggest resume, or do you vote for who you like the best? Do you vote with your heart? And she's a big believer that you vote with your heart. You vote for who you like the best. And so I don't really feel like Angelina can win the heart argument. Even though she has a really amazing husband or husband to be, I can't remember if they're married or not, but he's a Marine and he's hot. And I saw a picture of them, like they were like kissing. It was like the iconic, Marine wife picture, like when he's going off to deployment and they're kissing together, and then like it was really romantic. I love that picture. But like I said, with these people, I don't think she can win a heart argument, which means she's gonna have to rely on the fact. I was like Natalie in San Juan del Sur, where she spit all over herself in that challenge. I just did that right now. I got to spit on my chin because I was talking so fast. No, I think that she needs to be in the final 3 with 2 other people who are equally unlikable. And one of those people went home tonight, and Carl, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
And then if she gets into a final 3 with 2 other people who are unlikable, then she can win based on a resume or what have I done for you, because then everybody hates everybody. And then it's like, well, who deserves it the most? But I think if there's somebody that's likable enough in the final 3, they're ultimately going to get the votes. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel like it goes. I
think if Christian makes it to the final 3, I think he's going to win. I've been watching him, and he's consoling people. He is working the jury a different way. Like, some people are waiting until they get to tribal council to work the jury, as where he's consoling Alison, he's taking care of Gabby, he's just, there's just nothing I can hate about him. And if I were out there, I don't think I could hate him. I just don't see it. But then again, in my mind, maybe that's how Gabby's going to shift next week. I don't think I want to sit next to him. I'd rather sit next to Angelina or Carl or someone like that. And it just, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, especially like after he wins this like huge immunity challenge, they showed Dan saying like that's impressive. Looking at like everybody that's left in the game, and Christian's the one walking into tribal with the necklace around his neck. That's going to appeal to people like Dan, like John. People that are a little bit more physical. It
truly was David versus Goliath on that pole. Yeah. And Alec was being cocky. I mean, he was sitting there going, "You're gonna fall. You're gonna fall. You're going to fall." Bitch, shut up. No, I'm not going to fall. Listen, I'm a tiny little 4'11" woman. I would have held on to that. I have tiny feet. I would have been just up there. Like, go ahead and fall out.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason why like the tiny women usually win these type of competitions in Big Brother and in Survivor. You know,
I was about to say in Big Brother.
Let me say that everything about that challenge I loved. I thought it was great. I love how they let the people sit out. That was great. I thought it was funny that they literally stuffed their face because they thought the challenge was going to be over in like 10 minutes and then it goes like 6 hours.
Yeah,
and they're all sick. The one thing I didn't like about that, I'm a fan of Gabby. I see Deb in the chat. She's not a fan of Gabby. She's like, Gabby is dead to me. No, I'm a fan of Gabby, but my God, woman, please stop crying. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, every single episode, she's crying. She's crying in the freaking immunity challenge. Like, it's not that hard, bitch, to just step off. I mean, I love you, Gabby, but like, I just feel like, here's the thing. I don't want her to get to the final 3 and then look at her like Dawn. You know, like Dawn cried all over the place in Caramon, and you're like, oh, I'm so through with her because like her tears aren't believable anymore. I don't want her to be that GOAT. If she gets there, I want her to be able to own it, own her shit, and win. And I just feel like it's a little bit of a disservice to her game to wear her emotions. Look, I'm the king of wearing my emotions on my sleeve. I get it, okay? But even I think it's too much, and I wish she would pull back a little.
Yeah, the whole crying when she was up there, it just kind of, to me, I felt like if I'd been sitting there watching her up there, I would have been like, just knock it off. I'm not buying it anymore. You've made it up there. You're one of the 3 still up there. You've made it that long. You kind of look like a threat to me right now, and now you're throwing on the waterworks. Don't even. Just stop.
By the way, and so for the other thing I didn't like about the challenge, I don't know why the hell Christian decided to stay up there for 6 hours. I don't know if it was like maybe a snowball effect. I mean, I know he had to stay up there 6 hours to win. I get that part, but I mean, but why is he winning? Why is he winning? His threat level. He's already talked about his threat level. His threat level is already at Omega Red. Why the hell is he trying to win an immunity challenge that's 6 hours long? Like once it gets to like an hour and a half, bitch, you gotta step off. Like, act like you fell or something. What the hell are you doing being up there for 6 hours? He is likable. He is funny. He's got a story to tell. He's a fan of the game. And now he's a physical threat, too. Like, everybody on that beach probably wants him out. Like, that promo is probably no joke, Tyler.
And not only that, but, like Christian admits later that, Alec still being in the game is actually really beneficial for him because he's like a really great meat shield. So it's not even like a lose-lose situation. It's not like if he falls down or lets Alec win, it doesn't benefit his game. I totally agree that there's like no benefit to him like staying up there and basically saying like, look at me, I can fight with the greatest left in the game. And keep him.
Just didn't seem like the time to do it because he had already won. I mean, he already found. Had he found the idol at that point?
Yeah, because he found it last week. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so it's like, I agree.
He's not being targeted right now. He's got a little breathing room. Now is not the time to remind people how freaking awesome you are, Christian.
Right.
It's just kind of funny. Like I've never seen someone bore another player to death to the point where they just jump up. Like Alec didn't even fall. There was no dramatic. It was just, dude, fuck this. I'm out of here. I can't. Seriously, what are you saying right now? It was just talking about stuff that would put me to sleep to where my sleepy ass would just fall face first into the sand.
That was funny to me. I see James in the chat saying because Alec could go on an idol run as insofar as why they voted him out. But I'm like, look, bitch, there are 10 people left. You got to get to the final 3. Even Mike from Worlds Apart did not go perfect for perfect on his immunity run. He had a time where he lost. He had to play it. His immunity idol that got him out of trouble for 1 vote, and that is a rare occurrence. There is no flipping way that Alec is going to be able to go, 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 down the line here and get himself to the end. I just don't buy that. So I don't know, but I will say insofar as why he didn't keep, because somebody else, Mariatula, you're always in my chat too. I can never pronounce your name right. You said why didn't Christian keep Alec in the game? I think that Christian didn't have the guns. He didn't have the currency. He didn't have the agency in order to be able to keep Alec in the game. I think the train was moving too far down the tracks. There was too many people that wanted Alec out. In order for him to save Alec at that point, it would have taken a monstrous effort, and he had to backstab his alliance who really wanted him out. All for what? To save Alec? A guy who has voted against you twice? I don't know. I feel like that I understood why he couldn't save Alec.
I gotta say though, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about Alec and you know, like not even like talking about the whole like Instagram thing that happened before the season or whatever. But I rarely find myself like rooting for like the straight white male in Survivor, but I really enjoyed Alec as a character. He of course was like really great in challenges, but he was also like very willing to get dirty and do what he needed to do to advance himself in the game. I really feel like he kept himself like the most fluid in a season that was really like tribal lines, like right down the middle. He was like, I feel like every single episode we saw him saying like, you know, maybe if I work with this person, maybe if I like make a deal with this person. And I just really appreciated like how much scrap he had in this game. And he really,
yeah, he has a lot of scrap. I will say that he fizzled out a little bit for me in terms of pizzazz. I wish at the John vote when it was 7-5 that he would have grabbed Alison. Screw Mike White. You know, Mike White's a pussy. Whatever, girl. Bye. Yeah. We're gonna me and Alison are gonna go over
talk
here.
About that.
We're on the strike force. We're gonna go over here and vote with the Davids, and then you know it would have been great for him. Like he waited too long to make a move, and by the time he decided, it was like Alison. She was saved by the grace of God tonight, but she really waited too long to make a move. She may, you know, ultimately she may be able to get her hands back in the game, but it's going to be on the mistakes of other people, not on the accomplishments of herself. I feel like at this point,
I totally agree, because she has flippity flopped. Like she has got teeter-tottered so much with, what am I going to do? I'm going to vote this way. I'm going to do this. And go. It's like, make a decision and stick to it. How are you going to justify that if you're in the final three pleading your case to the jury?
Yeah, there's a difference between being malleable and being a flip-flopper, which is what I feel like she is. And, it's really sad because I don't really feel like she's done anything to own that title. She hasn't flipped or flopped, but she's acted like it the entire time. And thus, you know, perception becomes reality in Survivor, and there you go. So, yeah, that's what happens when you don't make a decision. She just vacillates for too long, and you can't do that in a game like Survivor.
Yeah.
I did love it tonight when Mike called Angelina Tracy Flick from the movie Election. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that movie with Reese
have never even heard of that movie.
You need to watch it because Reese Witherspoon is great in that. And anyway, go see. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about it over here.
So we had a pretty cut and dry tribal council. I mean, Alec goes home because he's a big threat. My friend texted me immediately and says, I can't believe we lost all 3 hot guys in a row. Totally agree with that too.
That jury, like, you could just put me in the jury house. Put me in the jury house.
Like, send me to Ponderosa, please. Like, Dan is looking good with that haircut.
Did you see what Dan tweeted today? He was like, I've been asked 3 times today why I'm single, and the answer, he gave a really diplomatic answer, like, I don't feel single. I have all the people around me who love me, and it's my family. And I responded to him, well, when you're single, you can fuck your living brains out and no guilt whatsoever. And he liked that tweet. I mean, liked that tweet. Yeah.
He liked a tweet of mine today too. He's very active with the Survivor fan base, which is it's cool to see. So is Gabby. She's very impressive.
She has been all over the map. Girl travels more than I've ever seen. She was with my friends like Lita and Matt and Gagan, all of the RHAP people who stay at Podcast House. She was with them. I think Austin and Danny as well. And she was just hanging out and being cool and having fun. And of course, that's partly why I'm rooting for her, because she's so down to earth. And I love how she used, if you saw tonight, she used agency in the game of Survivor. She said that word on the air, which I think is the first time it's ever been said on the air. Maybe somebody can correct me, but I have never heard it before, which is what we talk about. So I love the fact that she's like, her super fandom is there and it's totally shining bright, like, a big but I forget, there's a phrase in Queer as Folk, like, you want to burn bright, not be a puny little pilot lighter. I don't know what.
Something like that. I've seen that show. I know what you're talking about. So Deb says in the chat, and I do want to talk about this. She says, I can't get over how much the Goliaths were kissing ass tonight. They were practically, what is that word?
Filleting. They were filleting off the Davids. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this real quick because I had in my notes tonight, I'm very impressed with Gabby's perception of the game and where she stands and where her alliance stands. She's really perceptive about how the tides have really turned, and she's noticing that, like, oh, now instead of us being on the bottom, like, now they're coming to us. And she also had a really great conversation with Christian tonight where they're thinking long term about the end of this game. and saying like, if Carl's still around, we're not going to get any credit for these like big moves that are happening. And I thought that that was like one of the most like intelligent reads I've seen like from a Survivor player in like my recent memory of like these past seasons and stuff. Very, very impressed with her perception of like where not only her place is in the game, but also like Christian's and like the alliance as a whole. Like she thinks like very layered, and I really hope that she makes it to Final Tribal, because I would love to see her like give like a speech of some kind.
I do too. As far as Deb's question goes, when she's talking about how much the Davids were falling all over themselves, the Goliaths were falling all over themselves to suck off the Davids tonight. Look, I get it. There was a reason why. Because, look, Deb, it was all because of Angelina. Like, Angelina made it very clear she was done with the freaking Goliaths, that she was like practically flipping them off. And then she went over to Carl, and Christian was like, I just want you to know that the reason they wrote my name down is because they want to make it look like they were there with you. But now I am done with them. I am voting with you guys. So like so all of a sudden, instead of 5-5, it's now 6-4. And now all the four other Goliaths have to panic and say, oh my God, well, if Angelina's gone, then obviously going to Rocks is not a possibility. I was worried going into this episode, because I was rooting for the Davids going into this episode. I was worried that maybe it's going to be 5-5 and that somebody might pretend to be in on like the Davids vote, but then tell the Goliaths who they were voting for and use like an idol or something to, get control back of the numbers. But that is done. Angelina is like Team Davie, Team Carl, Team Nick. And I think that's the reason why everybody else was forced to play a game that they maybe weren't even prepared to play, because Angelina made the decision for them.
Do you really think that Angelina's that locked in?
I mean, I think she'll do anything. I think she'll.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think that Angelina's vote is like for sale, no matter what, at a very cheap cost, like the rest of the game.
I think so too. I think it's for sale, and I think that she is willing to do anything to get herself to the end of the game. She's gonna have an uphill up. I did this last night on the RuPaul's Drag Race podcast. I kept saying uphill hill to climb. An uphill climb is what she has. I think Mike left it in, so it'd be funny if you guys listen to that. But she's got a ways to go if she wants to win the game, and I feel like that, just throwing her vote here, throwing her vote there. And now she's got to reevaluate again, because she was locked in with like Davie and Carl and Nick, and like, okay, I can probably get to the Final Four. Really, you only need to get to the Final Four now, because it's a challenge at the Final Four. There is no voting, so as long as you can get to the Final Four, you're fine. I'm sure she's like, you know what, I can get to the Final Four. She said, you saw on the episode tonight, she's like, I've supplanted Gabby in the alliance, which she felt great about. So that means she's at least number 4. And I'm sure she felt great about it, but now she's going to have to reevaluate again. Everybody's going to have to reevaluate, because now it's not only is it 4-4 in terms of Goliaths and Davids, but it's very mixed up in terms of, like Christian blindsided Nick. Christian and Gabby blindsided Davie, but then again, Davie was going to blindside Gabby. So like, I don't feel like any of those people are back together now. I feel like it's a free-for-all at this point.
What is there Chuck in the chat is asking, is there any chance Angelina gets a FTC vote? What's that?
Final Tribal Council.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that, Chuck. I mean, I feel like it's uphill, but I don't feel like she's shut out. She's obviously very shrewd. I think that she can call a spade a spade. I have wanted women to do this since like 10 seasons ago when I started talking about Survivor. For her to go to a Final Tribal Council and flat out call out the sexism at play and say, you know what, like, and call it a situation where she wanted X to go home. Nobody listened to her. A day later, Mike White wants X to go home. Everyone's like, sure, Mike, that sounds like a great idea. So I would love for her to own her shit at the Final Tribal Council and really put on a good show and say, like I made a joke on Twitter. It was I think it was my favorite tweet of the month, where I was like, I'm Angelina. I'm in the Final 3. And I'm like, jury, give me the $1 million. Jury.
Brent, I think that there's a non-zero chance that could happen. I mean, like one of the first things we saw from her at the beginning of the season was saying like, all these men get idols all the time, and it's time that a woman gets like a hidden immunity idol. And I keep going back to that and wondering like where like that kind of like story is going.
Yeah, they never finished that story. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was all for it. I was so.
Oh yeah,
rooting
me
for
too.
that to
I love the
happen.
fact that I can't even believe they aired it. That Survivor acknowledged the fact
Right.
that maybe hiding idols might
The
be a little
editors must have
sexist.
like hid that past like Jeff Probst or something.
Yeah, apparently.
Have you guys noticed what the jury is full of right now?
Hot
yeah,
people.
It's a
Hot
sausage fest.
guys. It's men and Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We love you, Elizabeth.
But it's seriously, it's Elizabeth and guy. I would feel like I would just walk up and extinguish my own torch. I'd be like, Jeff, the tribe does not have to speak. I'm leaving. I'm just going to go take care of the jury.
Yeah.
Well, that was back when the strike force was a thing. Well, like, I mean, they all wrote Elizabeth's name down because they were like, okay, we're going to write Elizabeth's name down, and then you're going to give us one of yours. You're going to vote out, I think it was Angelina at the time. And then they lied to them, and then the David sniffed that up, and they were able to turn that around and get John out, and then they got Dan out last week, and then here we are. So, I mean, it was all that play to get rid of Elizabeth was a token from the Davids to say, you know what, we're with you, but you know, the people that we've made the Strike Force alliance with, we will go after, you know, somebody in your alliance next week. And then the check never cashed. It was a bounce check. They never came through. And so I feel like that anybody that's in trouble at this point, you made your own bet.
I'll tell you one person I think who is not voting for Angelina no matter what at the end. I think it's Alison. You know, we've had so many times in tribal council where Alison just like flat out calls out Angelina. She just like calls her out in her shit.
Yeah, they did it.
She did it tonight again. She said like, I don't buy a lot of what Angelina's saying anymore. And I don't know, like that. This is the only times that I really see like Alison really getting feisty. You know, the rest of the time she's calm, cool, collected, trying to like strategize, but she just like really lashes out at her.
Was that during the second tribal council? It all blurs together when they're back.
That was during the first tribal.
When she said, I don't believe her? Okay, cool. Well, but even going into the second one, she was like, you know, she was being lied to about the fact. I mean, they were all telling Alison and Gabby that they were voting for Angelina, but of course, you know, we know the real story, and they sniffed it out and turned it around on them. So I don't know where that's coming from, and I don't know that Alison wouldn't vote for Angelina in the end. But on the other hand, I do feel like Carl would vote for Angelina in the end, because I feel like he's the kind of person who would really be pissy if he wrote his name down. Like when when Alec voted for him during the first tribal council, and it was like 9-1, but the one was for Carl. Carl was bitter as fuck. So like, I don't think he's gonna vote for people who voted for him. He's gonna be like the Sandra Diaz trying, where she's like, no, I'm not voting. Anybody, you voted me. If you screwed me, screw you. So anybody, if your name is Angelina, she can get a vote. But from Carl. But outside of that, I still think it's uphill.
So maybe she's not as goat worthy as I thought she was.
Yeah,
the tides are changing a little bit.
I wouldn't want to take somebody like that to the final 3 or the final 4. I really wouldn't.
Anybody that has taken an advanced negotiations class at Yale, you know, you don't want to take them to the end.
Whatever. I can negotiate circles around that bitch. Here's the thing. You just gotta, I mean, that just drives it. Well, I have a BACK from Yale, and I took a master's in it, and I know how to negotiate. And, you know, you always negotiate by saying you go for the lowest negotiations, Jeff. I mean, I just wanted to throw up in my mouth. And then she sits out the challenge. I guarantee you, if she makes it to the final 3, she is going to milk the teat of that entire rice. I mean,
100%.
I said I was getting secondhand embarrassment just watching her talk to Jeff. Like, it was terrible. It was like my mom negotiating in a garage sale. It was just like, you know, well, I'll give you this and this and this and this and this and this, and I'll also throw in this.
It was everything.
And that's my low offer.
That was
I will
everything.
say,
she was giving him every goddamn thing from the cat. I would have been like, hold on a minute. We need some pots to cook in.
Yeah.
I need a hammock. Can you calm down a minute?
Yeah, just offer him the freaking fishing gear and see if he'll take that. Like, he probably won't, but that's fine. But whatever he offered, whatever Jeff said, I feel like was going to be less than what she was offering.
Yeah.
I will say though, she kind of left that kind of looked like in positive like eyes, in my opinion, because she like sat out of that challenge. Like, she like owned up that like, I'm the negotiator. The negotiator.
I think it's a point in her favor. Yeah, I think it's a point in her favor, but I don't think it's something that she can win the game for. There has to be more. They cannot just be just that. So she's going to have to do something else. She's going to have to. I hate to say she needs a big move, but that's kind of what she needs. She needs a move of her own that has her own identity written on it, and I don't think she has that at this point. Up until the last couple of votes, she's just been a lackey for Davie and Carl and Nick, and they're like, okay, what are we doing? Okay, we're doing that. You know, like there's no ownership of that whatsoever. So I don't think you can credit her for anything beyond what she did for the tribe.
Yeah. Let's see. So I also liked how Christian, like, we had like a confessional where he's talking about how he's worried about Mike. And again, we see Christian talking about like it's actions that he's weighing before like words. You know, he's saying that Mike has voted against him twice, and he has every reason to worry like about Mike's loyalty. Okay. And yes. And I feel like Mike, like we've been talking this whole season about how he's like really the one that's harped the most on like, we have to be Goliath strong. We have to take out all the Davids. I feel like this is the first time tonight where he's really said like, I'm a free agent. I'm in control. I can go either way, and I decide who goes home. So there was a little bit of I was a little impressed with him. I'm still not like the biggest Mike fan ever.
He was annoying the living shit out of me. I mean, I couldn't listen to him to give another confessional about pondering, oh, well, you know, I'm going to told these 4 people that I've done this, these 4 people, and I have to put on the biggest acting job whatsoever. I mean, I even impressed myself with my own. Shut up. No one cares.
And Christian shouldn't trust him. He's written his name down multiple times. He's looked him in the eye multiple times and said, yes, I'm voting the way you're voting. He's got to go. Because he's not going to be able to sit there in the final 3 and justify this shit that he's doing. I just don't think he will be able to. You can't act your way through that, honey. It's
What do you think? What do you think Mike's path to victory is at this point, if any?
I mean, I don't think he can win. I'll be real with you guys. I don't think he can win. He's rich. He's been on 3 reality shows. I don't understand why he's on 3 reality shows. I don't find him compelling at all. Whatever. They obviously like him, but I don't think the cast is going to give him $1 million.
I'm just like, how is he the only Goliath left? My mind is boggling.
Yeah, that's
that tonight during the last tribal. He goes, and the last Goliath is Mike, and I'm like, he's not really a Goliath though. He's like a David to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He kind of is, but I mean, I guess like in life, he's a Goliath, so that's where they went with that.
Yeah. I mean,
and as far as I know, like the theme was like, I can't remember when they decided the theme. It was when somebody walked in and they decided on the theme. So
it was the guy that got medevaced at the very beginning.
Oh, Pat. Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. That's when Jeff said that the theme came together or whatever.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, Mike White's been working my last nerve. So he's still in the game, and I can't tell you why. Okay, I think it's just his flippy floppiness. He won't make a decision. I don't even know why he's there. Like, are you there for the money? Are you there for the title? You don't really seem to even enjoy voting people out, although he seems to be adapting to that. So I kind of don't know. And I was really pissy with him because I also enjoyed Christian as well. I was pissy with him because Mike White was in the strike force. And then, 5 minutes later, he's like, I just ate pizza. And now all of a sudden I decided I got to get rid of Christian. Well, what brought that on? Like, where did that come from? He's totally nonsensical, and I can't with him.
But he sits there in tribal council tonight and says, well, in the beginning, I felt guilt and felt bad when I was, voting people out. Now it's just another day that ends in Y.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was praying he didn't screw it up. Look, here's the thing. I'm not even sure from a game perspective that he made the correct decision tonight, because Carl, I think, was starting to look like a pretty good goat. But then again, there might be too many goats at the end. Like, if Mike White sees himself as a goat, like somebody who won't win, he just wants to try to get to the end and maybe scrounge some votes together. Surrounding yourself with too many other more appetizing goats is not a good play. Right. So I was glad to see he made the move, but I wasn't sure it was the right move. I think from a story perspective, it's the better move, and maybe that's why he made it, because he does consider himself a storyteller, which is totally insufferable to me. But I'll take it for the moment when I can get it. And he voted the way that I wanted him to, because I wanted to see Carl out of the game. I wanted Gabby to reassert control a little bit, and that's what we got. So here we are.
Brent, do you think that Alison has like a path to victory at this point? What do you think? Like,
well,
not you, your first boot.
I do. Here's the thing. I do think she has a path to victory if you're not looking at the edit, and that's where I'm coming from. Is I think that, if you told me, okay, this is where the game is, here's what's been happening. There are 8 people left, 4 Davids, 4 Goliaths, and voting's all over the freaking place. Actually, I'm here now, so I'm not on RHAP, so I can say it's all over the fucking place. Yeah. I'm so used to like censoring myself because I'm not on.
No,
please don't
censor yourself here.
And I mean, I forgot what I was going to say because I veered off there. What were we talking about?
Alison's edit.
Oh, Alison, yeah. So, like, if you told me this is where she is, I would say, you know what? She has a great chance to win.
Yeah.
Because especially now, everything seems all jumbled up, and she got saved by a vote, and now they're not going to be pissed at Alison. They're going to be pissed at the people who betrayed them, which is Gabby and Christian and Mike. Alison didn't betray anybody. She was the one getting votes from them. So I do. But then you look at the edit and the fact that she's got, like there's been episodes where she hasn't even had a confessional, and you're like, in this day and age, is Probst gonna are the producers going to let somebody win who has an edit like that, who has a Vesepia-like edit? And Michelle Fitzgerald.
I was going to say Michelle Fitzgerald.
Well, he doesn't like that season. He doesn't even like that winner. He really doesn't. Let's be real.
I know, but that just drives me bananas. Like,
well, but I'm just being real here. So what I'm thinking is, like, if she was the winner, I feel like she would get more airtime. Yeah. And so that she's not getting the airtime leads me to believe that she's not the winner. So if she's not the winner, but let's take a look at this. We have 8 people left in the game, 4 Davids, 4 Goliaths. Who do you think can win the game at this point, Alison? There are 8 people there. So let me ask you guys this. You tell me yes or no. And I don't want to hear wishy-washy,
We're not fancy
fence. No fancy fence. Thank you. So do you think that Davie can win the game?
No.
Tyler? See, I do,
no.
But there's me. Okay, I think Davie can win the game. Do you think Nick can win the game?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Gabby can win the game?
Number 1 to win the game.
Okay. Do you think Gabby can win the game?
No.
Yes.
I think yes as well. I think her story is not yet told. Do you think Christian can win the game?
Yes.
Okay. So that's most of the Davids can. I think we have a majority. Maybe I think who was the first person we said? Davie. You guys said no, but I said yes. And then we were a little split on some other people. I think we were all yes on Christian, 2 to 1 on Gabby, and like 2 to 1 on somebody else. So
Nick.
On Nick, yeah, exactly. The Davids. I'm sorry, the Davids. I always call the Goliaths the Davids. The Goliaths. Do we think Mike White can win the game?
No.
Do we think Alison can win the game?
Yes.
I wish, but I say no.
I say no as well. Do we think Kara can win the game?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
See, I don't think so either. Okay. I thought we would have. I like this. I like the fact that we do not have as much agreement as I thought we would.
But you know what, Brent? Like, that means that like the editing is so good this season and so different from that shit show that was Ghost Island that it's not like apparent, like, and everybody's seeing this like same story a little bit differently. And that is the mark of good editing and good television.
Yes. Not all RHAP patrons are created equal, Laurel.
Yes.
And then there's one. Who else did we forget? So we said Kara. We said Alison. Oh, Angelina. Can Angelina win the game?
It depends on who she's against.
Well, but can she win?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I think it could be close, but I don't think so. I don't think she can pull out a majority.
I think she can win based on the edit. I think they've given her enough screen time that they'd be able to account for that. So, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, we're basically all over the place on almost everybody except for like Mike White. I think we're all like no, but everybody else got at least 1 vote. So that's interesting. Yeah. Cool. Yes. By the way, I wanted to go back to a point that you made, Tyler, about Alec. I loved Alec. I thought he was great. I don't really understand what the fuck happened at the end of the immunity challenge. I was really pissed. Like, I didn't like Christian to me didn't need immunity. Alec needed immunity, so I wanted there to be a little shakeup. And when he stepped off, I was just like, what? How did she just step off?
Yeah, I think everyone was like, what just happened?
Well, Cara Care or whatever, she did it first, where she was totally fine, and then she went, oh, and by the way, Alec, you looked hot as fuck on that immunity challenge. I just want to say.
Let me tell you, his butt looked like fantastic.
You looked
and it was like side
so
shots.
fucking hot. It was like your hands were tied up, and you were like, oh, it was great. It was great. Thank you, John Kierhofer. I love you. Anyway,
I totally agree.
I agree with you.
Is it weird that I thought Christian looked hotter?
I do not see Christian. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, Christian, when he's like in real life, walking around is hot. But Christian on the island to me is not as hot. Like he's a little too grubby at this point. You know, I'm just a little bit. Alec to me still looked hot. But I did enjoy Alec, and I was so surprised. Like I thought for sure he's gonna be some douche.
Yeah,
that I wouldn't
some
like
basic like surfer bro. Like they're trying to like recreate like the Devin of Heroes, Healers, Hustlers.
You know
like
who I thought he was gonna be like? I thought he was going to be like that Jeff guy from Palau. Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy who like hurt his foot. Really hot guy, but total douche and basically wussed out of the game. I thought he was going to be like that. Because and then when that TMZ, we can talk about it now, because that TMZ thing came out, he posted the picture on Instagram. The Survivor producers did not want him to post a picture on Instagram. He posted a picture of him and somebody else on Instagram. And somebody else that's still in the game at this point. And they barred him from the reunion. So you kind of knew, and I don't know if that's going to hold considering that Alex got such a positive reception, but kind of knew that Alec was not going to be the winner. And that really pissed me off, motherfucker. I was pissed at him because I was like Tyra Banks. I was like, I rooted for you. I was rooting for you. Yeah. And then he screwed it up. But I knew he had no chance, and so I was a little pissy about that. But
and realistically, like they probably won't ask him to return because of that either, which is really a shame. Because like I said, like I very rarely root for like a straight.
I know, right? I'm hoping he just like. I mean, and you're not alone. My friend Matt Lagori said, "Can we, because obviously there's some people coming back for next season of Survivor." Yeah. Spoiler alert: Alec is not one of them. And there's somebody on that cast that's definitely in the Alec vein. And my friend Matt was like, "Can we trade out blank for Alec?" And that's just like, and Matt's like doesn't typically like the same people that I like, not all the time anyway. And he was like on board with Alec. So I feel like he's really turned around a lot of his doubters. Alec, I feel like if he just throws himself on the mercy of the court with the Survivor producers, because he's got a positive and enough perception, does all the exit interviews, does all his press, says nice things about the show, and says, you know what, I'm so sorry, it was a really dumb decision, I was high at the time, whatever you want to say, do something. And maybe get back in good with them. But I agree. I do worry that they will not invite him back.
Yeah, which is but like I also think like they would invite like Devin over Alec. Like he was like such a memorable character, kind of in that same kind of archetype for casting. So,
by the way, I can talk about. James is talking about in the chat. It's Alec and Cara. So the thing is, they did not ban her from the reunion. So that leads like I kind of was like, well, of course he was the one who posted the picture, but still like she was in on it and she took the picture and they didn't ban her. So I'm like, I feel moderately good about her overall chances. I don't know if she can win, but the fact that they didn't ban her leads me to believe at least I don't believe that she can't win at this point. I feel like that she could.
I've been worried the last couple of weeks because of how well Alec's been doing and how he hasn't been voted out yet up until tonight. I kept wondering, like, what happens if Alec makes it to the final three? What are they gonna do? Not let him come to get any wins?
No, they would absolutely have him there. There's no way that they would like have somebody sit out of like the final three.
Right. Yeah.
Well, no way.
No way. Yeah. They no, go ahead.
I have a dream, and I brought this. I have to bring this up every week. Like, I want Alison to win, and I'm going to tell you why.
Jesus, I know where this is going.
I'm going to mute you. So I will. I just want to hear Jeff Probst say, and the winner of Survivor is Alison, so I can beat that to death. So I can open every show with just that soundbite saying that. That was just.
Well, how much do you think I beat the Julie Chen saying, from outside the Big Brother house with Brent? Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a lot of mileage out of that. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I will say I was hoping and praying Julie Chen was not going to say, Tyler, congratulations, you're the winner of Big Brother. So So I think that's everything in terms of like the recap for Survivor, unless anybody had some other questions in the chat or anything. But
if you got other questions in the chat, bring it up.
Yeah.
There was something that hold on, I can't get my thing. There was something somebody said. Where was it? I want to try to scroll. Deborah in the chat said this was the correct game move at this point of the game is taking out goats and trying to be the last goat standing to at least getting to the finale for the money.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a valid strategy in terms of taking out the goats and basically forcing people to give you a once-over in terms of possibly taking you to the end of the game. You don't want to you don't want to give anybody an easy win. And I feel like that people would be cognizant to recognize that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were being used as a goat, I wouldn't have a problem with it if I knew that I was playing the game and I was doing things and I was making decisions and kind of flying under the radar, because then when I get to the final three, I can say, well, I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. And I could back it up, as where somebody like Angelina is like, oh, well, I was a bitch the first part of the game, but I got everybody race.
I don't know. Once you get labeled as a goat, I feel like it's really hard to get yourself out of that box, because with any of these shows, any of these competitions, like perception, absolutely 100% is reality. And once people are perceiving you as the goat, doesn't matter. You are the goat, and you have to get yourself out of that situation. Yeah, and that's why I was so impressed with Gabby tonight. She was like, when she was talking to Christian about this, she said, I don't want to be looked at as this goat on the jury. Everybody's giving Carl all this praise for all these moves that he's doing, but we need to be the ones that are being seen as the movers and shakers of this game. And
he really gave her permission too by, deciding, what, we're not even going to tell her. Like, supposedly she's in the alliance, but you're not even going to tell her that you're voting out Alison. Like, I mean, that really cemented his fate, because I think that there was part of Gabby that was feeling bad about the fact that she was going to blindside Carl and blindside Davie and Nick and all of these people who she's built some trust with, that she just went through war with to get to this point. But then Carl, once she found out that Carl was bad-mouthing her behind her back and basically saying we're going to tell Gabby a lie, I mean that he was finished at that point. I feel like, as long as Mike White was on board, and he was.
Yeah. That's another thing, and we were talking earlier about the what gets me now is when they say, that on the next Survivor, it's been kind of throwing us off the scent a little bit, because last week I could have sworn it was either going to be Gabby or Angela, or both of them, that were going to leave, because you had Carl and Gabby crying, doing her boohoo fest, and then Angelina talking like she does, just running her mouth. And I think with Deb and I last week had discussed, if it looks like these two are going, but once again, you can't trust what's happening next week on Survivor anymore.
Right. The only time they've really been upfront was a little bit, like they were at least halfway honest in the second episode, not the first episode. There was no clue that Alec was going home, but then they showed the argument between Carl and Gabby, and Carl ultimately did go home. By the way, a friend of mine went to see Carl at wherever the hell he's at in some sports bar tonight and watching Survivor, and he said, this might be the last time that I'll have a watch party. And I'm like, he wouldn't be that stupid to tell people that he might.
No.
Yes, he would.
And then he did. Yeah.
He runs his mouth.
Whatever.
He's running his mouth sober and drunk. Give me a break.
Yeah. Whatever. All right, you want to talk about Big Brother? Let's talk about Big Brother.
Yeah, because we have some breaking news, actually. Because certain somebody tweeted something tonight.
Do you
I don't
want
know
me
if
to
you've seen it.
share? You want me to share my
there are certain people that I'm blocked from seeing, so I have to wait until my spies tell me.
Okay,
By the
well,
way,
I will
it's so
gladly-
fucking dumb that Tyler blocks me because I never added him once. I never added him and said, you know, at Tyler, fuck you, bitch, or anything like that. I never did anything like that. No, even when I was throwing subtle shade, never.
I gotta say, Brent,
blocks me.
Go ahead.
He blocks me, and then of course the only reason he blocks me is because he doesn't want me to because I was never talking to him in the first place, and then he doesn't want me to see what he's saying. But then all of my spies tell me what he's saying anyway. So
Yeah.
it's so dumb. Okay, go ahead.
I gotta say, like, the next time I audition for Big Brother, I need to introduce myself as Ty, not Tyler, because I am so embarrassed to be associated in any way with this stupid fucker.
This is so crazy. I didn't realize this when I came on the show. Like, there's an Alison on the show, and I had to be like Alison, you know, Alison Kelly, you know, the host. That's what I'm talking about. Because we just got done talking about Alison, and then now it's Tyler, and here's our Tyler. Yeah, so not host Tyler, exactly.
Before we get too into it, let me share. I don't know how he posted this right before we went live. So I don't know.
9
if
o'clock
he's got
tonight.
little spies poking around in your business, which is funny to me.
Oh, I told people to have him watch or have spies come over and watch. So hi, spies in the chat. Tell Tyler I said hi.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if you can see that or not.
This is like a timeline.
This is the time I'm getting. Yeah, I'll read it, Brooke. It says the question was if their opinion of
today.
This is just not an hour ago.
So weird.
9 or 9 p.m. Yeah.
Yes. The question was if their opinion of players' games changed because of their post-show activities. All they talk about is Tyler. Brent has some. It's like I don't know. Brent has some inside info. I have no idea what he is saying. Brent wants the real Tyler to come back.
Okay.
Brent
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Brent wanted to throw some shade on one of Tyler. I swear to God, I can read. Brent wanted to throw some shade on one of Tyler's tweets, but decided not to because he doesn't wanted to be blocked. Wow, that's great grammar. Thought Tyler would be different post-show. Says everything is about Angela now. Brent mocking Angela for not being chosen on Bold and the Beautiful. Thanks, Tyler has changed post-show.
Okay, so just so we're clear on where this is coming from, okay, this, again, exactly, Marietta, by the way, I know that's your name now. I'll remember that now. Like I said, my dementia sets in, I forget shit sometimes. You're right. I did a Twitch show with Taryn, and this guy, whoever this person was in Taryn's show or watched it back on replay. Keep that up if you can for a second. So I can look at it. Sorry.
Sure. I'm all about it.
Sorry. And he really was just there to, tell on me. And this is when Bert came about, because up until this point, Tyler had never said anything about me. In fact, he had never even blocked me at this point. But he had said a few things, and he said the famous thing, which is how I came to find out about you guys. He wanted to make sure that Rob knew that he had heard some shit, and he was like, well, because Rob said, hey, we'd love to have you on, Tyler. And the tweet that Rob had sent was to a different Tyler, but Rob was obviously trying to make a play on words with the real Tyler, but the tweet was like 2 weeks old. And then Rob says, hey, we'd love to have you on the show, Tyler. Har har har. And then 2 weeks later, this bitch, Tyler Crispin from Big Brother 20, he responds to Rob Sesternino, of all people, one of the nicest guys in show business, honestly, and says, all you have to do is be nice. He was a total cunt to him. Total. He was a total cunt. Okay. Yes. So that happened. And so then I'm like, okay, but he tweeted at Rob. But people are blaming me because that was right before that I had said that him and Angela were being a little bit of fame whory because they were just because
they are
the fake paparazzi photos of them going to the grocery store. Oh, we didn't know we were having our picture taken.
Yeah,
give me a break.
So it's exactly. I agree, Deb. It's all a little too calculated time wise. Boy, I really get under this guy's skin, and I fucking love it. Seriously, because I'll tell you two things. Number one, when he tweeted the first time around because this is the same Twitch info, he's already tweeted this one time, And so he tweeted this Twitch info like, 4 weeks ago. And this is when he called me Bert. And I was asleep all day long. I opened up my Twitter. Number one, I'm blocked from Tyler. Number two, apparently he's called me Bert because I have all these Bert text messages, which, fuck, call me Bert, honey. I love you. But as Rob told me, for a guy, he said to the fellow patrons in RHAP, I rarely talk about patron BS, and I promised Rob I wouldn't get him in trouble, but I think Rob is okay with me saying this. What Rob said about Tyler is, for a guy who pretends like he doesn't know who the fuck I am and can't even get my name right, he sure seems to hang on every word that I fucking say. Like, it's absolutely bizarre how much I annoy this guy. It's just crazy. Like, I don't even think he knew about RHAP when he was in the house. Like, I think Scotty said something, and Tyler was like, oh, yeah, I heard of that or something, but I don't really know. Of course, who knows if he was being legit or not, because he's pretending not to be a super fan the entire time. So, okay, the whole point of this is Tyler has retweeted this because he's mad that at the end I said, during the Twitch show, I said that, I was mocking Angela for not being chosen for Bold and the Beautiful, because remember, Bold and the Beautiful takes like the lowest of the low from Big Brother and they puts them on the show. And Angela, who is a fucking fitness model, couldn't even get that gig. It went to Brent and Tyler, for God's sake. Like, and this is at the time when they knew that Tangela was a thing. They knew Tangela was the thing, and they said, still, girl, bye, we don't need ya. Well, apparently now, a month later, all's well that ends well. Angela Rumans, whatever, she joins the Bold and the Beautiful cast. If she can approach Jessica Graff, my queen, as the hostess or maitre d' lady at I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's on the tip of my tongue, Tyler.
Some like Italian thing.
Yeah. If she can rise to that, I will be so happy for her. But I just love the fact that he's like so burnt up about this that he's got to retweet the same shit that he tweeted before, and then they tweet this out as if he's being fucking cool. Bitch, no one cares. Your 15 minutes are like at 14 minutes and 59 seconds. Fuck off. No one cares. Anyway, Allison, take it away. You can take it down now.
Okay.
He literally is like Paul, like 2.0, like with all of his fans and stuff like that.
It's
like,
hilarious though.
And I have to say, Brent, like you can like go like watch like the first recap. No, our cast analysis video of Big Brother 20. I was saying I don't like Tyler before it was even cool to say I don't like Tyler. I've never been a fan of him. I think he's like a punk little bitch. I think that he is like totally disrespectful to you guys. Like, that's what pisses me off the most, is that like he really like takes a jab at like some of the hardest working people in like reality TV.
Look, here's the thing. I give it as well as I can take it. He can come after me all day fucking long, because I'm saucy when I'm on Big Brother. When I'm on with Taryn and Melissa, I tell like it is. I even went after, look, here's the thing you guys need to understand. I went after Caitlyn so hard for some of the shit that she pulled on Big Brother, and she will still sit down for a fucking interview with RHAP. She will have drinks with Taryn. She will tweet me. She's fucking cool as shit.
Yep.
Tyler, on the other hand, and he hides behind this. Well, I just want positivity in my life. Yeah, so I don't want to listen, which is just that is a total sham. That is not what's happening here at all. He just wants to have things his way, and if you're not kissing his ass like everybody was in the Big Brother house, then he just has no use for you. But I'm sorry, honey, real life isn't that way, and it's just it bugs me only a little bit, and I'll acknowledge that it bugs me because, unlike him, who can't acknowledge that it bugs him, but I will acknowledge that he bugs me a little bit because, bitch, I gave him props in the Big Brother house. I was falling all over myself. I mean, I wasn't rooting for him necessarily at times, but I still objectively said, you know what, you're playing the hell out of this game. You were playing the hell of a game, but when it got a little worrisome at the end and he didn't have an in-game plan, I called him out for that bullshit too. So I was fair in my coverage of him. He just does not like me going after Angela, his fucking couch girlfriend. I love that somebody in the chat's like, Brent, Angela was there. She was the couch in the Brent and Tyler scene. So yeah, I get where he's coming from. Maybe he's one of these old school guys that thinks he has to defend his woman. From where I was sitting, Angela could dish it out just as well as she could take it. So I don't know why the fuck he needs to do that. The whole thing is just laughable at this point. I love the fact that the first time around he said my name was Bert. Now 15 minutes later it's now Brent. So I mean, Get your story straight, bitch.
Anyway. I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, do you think it's just coincidence that he like tweets this like right before we're about to go on?
Hell no! You saw my tweet. You guys saw my tweet about this show. I wanted to get you guys some press. I wanted more people watching your fucking show because I think that it's a good show to have. Look, I love Robin's podcast. Rob and Steven do admirable work over there. Yes. Know-it-alls, but every once in a while, you just want to go to somebody who just gives you a little bit of a kick with what you want. And this show is it. And I feel like that this show needs to have the first show that I watched was the lady from Sequester season 1 and Deb were both on the show, and it was a really fun show. And you guys were going after Tyler because he said some shit about Rob. And like I said, I missed my first point, which was that you can come after me all you want. But Rob fucking goes out of his way to be so objective.
Absolutely.
And so fair to these fucking reality show freaks and egos. And for him to say that shit to him, I was like, I'm so through with you right now. Yeah. I think it's very telling too that Taryn, who is like the biggest fan of Tyler, he doesn't really give two fucks about an interview at this point. Like he was going to, and then he was like, I don't even think Tyler's toxic at this point. I don't even think the rap community would want to hear from him at this point because he's such a little bitch.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No. Now let me ask a question. That's something I've been wanting to. Do you think if he were not in this romance, this Tangela shit, do you think if that had never happened outside of the house, he would be different?
Well, I talked to a friend of mine and who knew him before the show and now knows him obviously after the show. And this person seems to think that that's probably true. That if it wasn't for Angela, he would be a little different. But then again, if somebody has that kind of a hold over you, if somebody can change your personality in that way, then were you ever really the person that you thought you were to begin with? I mean, I guess not. And by the other thing, the thing that tweeted about that he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that Brent has some inside info. I know for a fact, I just want you guys to know this. And I told the RHAP group this, that I know for a fact, I got through another source that Tyler was butthurt about the things that I said about him in the Big Brother house. I'm not talking my fame horse comment. That comment came like a week and a half after the show ended. He was already butthurt about me 2 days after the show ended. I cannot tell you how I know. Okay, I have a source who absolutely knew that this is a thing. He thought that I was somebody, and he was really pissy. And he was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with you because I've heard you said some shady shit about me in the house. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So he was mad about some of that stuff that I said about him within the Big Brother game. And I was like I said, I went out of my way to be fair to him, Alison. I went out of my way to be fair, even though I didn't really care for him. And I also made sure that, you know what, I criticized his in-game because I felt like it deserved criticism. And it did. And he's even owned that shit. So what are you mad about? Like, can't we just be cool? But no, he's got to be a total bitch about it. Ugh.
Yeah. But obviously, it's at the end of the day, it's his loss. And it's his loss to the RHAP community, who's really rooting for him.
Really rooting for him. Yeah. That entire community.
We were rooting for Tyler. We were on board with Tyler. Well, I can't say that's true.
Not me.
Somebody in here who just had a bug up his ass the whole time before the show even started. But we were cheering him on, he's doing a good job. And then this fucking romance or whatever you want to call it started, and it just got ridiculous. And now I'm sitting here and I'm seeing they're giving their apartment. They're giving tours of their apartment, and then there was a video of someone flat ironing his hair. You cannot sit here and tell me that you are not a fame whore. You cannot sit here and tell me it is not going to your head, because if you guys had kissed his ass 100% and never said anything about negative about or whatever, then he would have come on your show. Tyler Crispin is only interested in people that are going to kiss his ass and fan the flames of his 15 minutes. That's all there is to it. And what pisses me off more than anything is that he doesn't even know why he's like, blocking Brent. That's so stupid. And I'm gonna tell you what my therapist tells me, Allison. People get the most upset about things that they know are true, and that he knows it. He absolutely knows it. And then I will tell you something. When Rob was going through a personal issue with, I think his mother-in-law passed away, and he was doing his show from up north, and he was on. I don't know if you were on the show, but I can't remember. But I know I think Taryn was on it, and all of the sudden, Rob just goes, "I just have to say, this is stupid." And he was going on a tangent about the tangent. It was the greatest moment of my life.
It's really fun. Yes. When Rob lets down his hair, just like he did with Johnny Mac and Steve in Big Brother 17. When Rob lets down, or 17, yes, 17. When Rob lets down his hair, and you can like see the real Rob. Not that you guys don't see the real Rob, because you do see the real Rob. But there's the public Rob, and then there's the Rob that will text me and say, what the fuck, Grim? What were you thinking? So, when that Rob shows up on the podcast, it's very, very fun. And that was Rob being real for a second and saying, I just can't stand this Tangela storyline. It's so fucking boring. Of course, he didn't say fucking, but he's like, this is so boring. It's like human tryptophan. And then and they got all mad. Like, they really got mad at him, the Tangela fans. He was really taken aback by that. But I was more taken aback by it. I didn't think Tangela was a thing. Melissa told me. She told me Tangela fans were a thing. I said, you know what? I can take it. I went through Big Brother OTT. I can take it. And then they came to me, and people actually did block a few people just because they were like unsightly. Like, I can take shade. If you had some good shade, I mean, honey, send it my way. I love shade.
Yeah, we love it.
But these people were just flat out assholes. They were mean, and so I blocked them. But it was my first time really dealing with shit like that. So, but to answer your question, sorry again, I tangented.
That's up. Go. That's what we're here for.
It's literally called My Weekly Meltdown. You're good.
He totally knew that this was happening because I tweeted about it 1,000 times. And I said in one of the tweets, I said, make sure that if you're a fan of Tyler, make sure you come over and report back to him all the shit that I'm going to say about it. So he knew exactly when this was happening. He knew exactly. This is not coincidental. As Deb said in the chat, it's just too coincidental to be, a coincidence. So that's totally like an Angela thing to say, but
well, Tangela fans, eat your heart out is what I say to that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have every right to like who they want and obsess over who they want, but when they start personally attacking people and acting nuts, that's when I got to say no more. And they started going after Rob too. It's so unnecessary. Let me break it down for you, Tyler. Nobody is gonna fucking remember you. Nobody's going to remember you in a few years. And when they do remember you, it's not going to be for the right reason, honey. And let me tell you something.
It's going to be because of this shit.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And Rob Sesternino has played Survivor not once, but twice. He was an all-star. Okay? He, to me, is the godfather of this whole reality show deal. And for you to act like a bitch towards him is unnecessary and unfucking called for. He is the nicest guy on the planet. He speaks the truth. I mean, it's just insane. Like, how dare you?
And he works hard, like, for all of us,
Well, I'm glad at this point he's not attacking Rob anymore. He's attacking me. I would rather him come after me. Sure. I think it's funny because, like, he apparently is tweeting at me, but yet he blocked me. That makes no sense whatsoever. Again, the whole thing is just dumb. He's just dumb. Whatever. Okay, I'm through. Again, Celebrity Big Brother is going to start up. I'm so excited for it because I don't have to talk about Big Brother and Tyler anymore. I can talk about whatever.
And then Big Brother Canada
celebrity. People are asking me because people didn't go through Celebrity Big Brother last year, because it was happening during the Olympics. But yes, there are live feeds on Celebrity Big Brother. When the live feeds came up last year, it was fucking Omarosa and Marissa and Brandy like making an alliance together. And we were like, oh my God, that is fucking amazing. Of course, it didn't last, but still, it was fun. And I'm so excited for Celebrity Big Brother to start.
Who would you love? Like, who would be your dream? Like, maybe name 2 or 3 people you would live to see on Celebrity Big Brother 2.
Like I would like to see Shangela from RuPaul's Drag Race. DJ Pierce, that's his boy name. He was in A Star Is Born. He was played the bar maitre d' whatever host with Lady Gaga.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. If you don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you may not know who she is, but she's really fun. She, whatever. She goes to a boy and a girl. She's not trans. I think her and probably I've always wanted New York from MTV Reality. I think she would be an absolute hoot. I thought they were gonna put her on last season, but then they didn't because they got Omarosa, which I understand. I just don't want any. I don't want any snoozy people. Like even like James, who I didn't really care for going into Celebrity Big Brother, really turned out to be a major player. Like he was hungry to win. I like
James
him. Like
Maslow was a treat to
but somebody like Keisha Knight Pulliam, who was on The Mole, and she was fun on The Mole, but she was not fun on Celebrity Big Brother, and I wasn't here for her. So I just want fun people who are hungry to win. I love the fact that they actually give these people the money because none of these people are rolling in the dough. So they can use the money. And I was praying that they did that because when you play for charity, it just sucks. Like nobody ever likes playing for charity. So I like the fact that they get the money, and Marissa, she used that money and she's having a grand old time. So there you go.
Some people in the chat are Gary Busey, Nancy Grace, AJ from Backstreet Boys.
Nancy Grace, the Nancy Grace knows who I am, so that would be fun because she was doing. I was in the Staircase trial, and she was on Headline News at the time, or Court TV. I can't remember which one she was on. I think it's Headline News, but I can't remember. She called me the hooker with a heart of gold. That's what she said. She was nice. Even though I was because I was kind of testifying for the prosecution, but I was kind of like really more for the defense. So it was sort of a weird dichotomy, but she at least cut me a break. And I have that VCR tape of her saying that about me. And I have every coverage there ever was about me on the Michael Peterson trial. I have it buried somewhere in my basement.
As you should.
Yes. I mean, like, well, when is something like that going to happen to me again? It was crazy. Sure. It was a fucking circus at the time. And then, I was like, I'm just going to tape everything. So we taped all the newscasts and all the live trials. And I, even though I was a big part of the story, I was only there for like half a day. Like it was over really fast. It was kind of like my sex life. It's like, bam, 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 done. So it was like, it was done. And then I was off to Palm Springs. So, for more stuff. Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
Well, some people are saying Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, these are the people that we heard last year. Like these are Roseanne. I'd be shocked if they put Roseanne on. She is kryptonite. I think that's probably a bridge too far, I think. But anyway, everybody else is just kind of the run of the mill people. I'm sure there's going to be some surprises, and I look forward to it. It's no fun to know exactly who's going to be on the show.
I would love to see someone like David Lee Roth or someone like that. Yeah. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But Gus Kenworthy is hot as fuck.
Oh my god, I would love to see him in there. I'm with you on that one.
He's the Olympic skier who was a silver medalist in the 2014 Olympics in Sochi. Oh. He came out like a year after as like he's one of the few athletes who came out at the top of his game. Usually gay guys or women come out when they're already like put out to pasture, like they're about ready to retire and then they come out of the closet, or they are retired and then they come out of the closet. And that's nice and good for them. But they weren't, me being real is real. So they didn't take that brave step to come out when they had everything to lose. And Gus did. Gus was at the top of his game, is the best skier in the world. And because he lost by a hair in 2014, and in 2015 he was #1 in the World Cup. And like for him to come out at that time was a big fucking deal. And he has been nothing but happy and satisfied since then. And he's taken some really hot pictures too. So,
I follow him. I know exactly what you're saying.
And he's so great too. And he he'll respond to you on social media. Like he's not above. He's not one of these people that lives in like an ivory tower. He's like he's like one of us. And I feel like I connect well with him. He's somebody that I feel like anybody would root for.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Deb sent something to me real quick. Have you guys seen Brett. I just did it, Brent.
Yeah.
Brett Robinson's. What is it?
His rapping.
Yeah. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah, it's really fucking terrible.
Tweeting it, but I haven't like. Is it a real thing?
I mean, like, supposedly he's gonna release like a record, and then he decided to break out a few bars and tweet about it, and like it was like what 7 seconds long.
Let me see. I've got it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because last time I tried to do this, you couldn't hear it.
Okay, well, let's try it.
Let's try it. Can you hear it?
No,
we cannot.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's about Scott. Well, anyway, I don't know. He's so hot. He's just so hot, though. I could just watch.
Oh, I'd fuck him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think that's everything for tonight. Unless I didn't see like any questions in the chat or anything. But unless you guys have any.
Deb, in the chat. Next time I come back, your ass is gonna be here too. Because I want you here, and we can have a grand old time together. And even if we don't agree on everything, fuck it, we can still have a great time. So I love what you tweet about, and I love you in the chat, and I love you on the show. So I look forward to having some fun next time I come back.
Yeah, she's amazing. Her IBS was a little out of control.
Yes.
That's a running joke that we have.
When somebody can't come. Okay, cool.
Accuse them of having IBS, but you know.
By the way, Tracy Burke says, "What is Sequester?" I saw that last night and loved it. So it's Sequester in a house this year? What the fuck? And is it being released like? Tell me what is going on. And it looks like it's being released like an episode at a time, or what's going on?
I played Sequester twice. I played season 5 and then All Stars in season 6, and that's when it was online. Okay. Well, now Audrey Middleton, who we love, has now put it into an hour-long episode. Okay. So, and it airs on Sunday nights now. This is actually the second time that she's done this.
It's in a house, like they're not online. It's like they're literally in a house.
They were living in a house in Georgia. They rented this huge, beautiful house, and it's very, a lot of people give us shit and call us the stepchildren of Big Brother, and that's not the case at all. I mean, Sequester's different. It's very stressful. The games are it's not like Big Brother. And we actually, all of us in the Sequester community actually found it very ironic that the hacker that was in BB20 was the exact same silhouette of the Sequester bot, wearing the hoodie and the crossed arms. And we all freaked out when we saw this. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. You can go to sequesteraccess.com. Okay. And it has all the information there. It has video. It explains what it is. But it's full of a lot of people. Hamza from Big Brother Canada is on I
haven't seen anything, so just don't tell me anybody who's out.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say no.
Hamza and Jesse and Cindy. Cindy with an S. Yeah. And Judd, Tracy is saying. Judd is also on the season.
Judd is on it. Kim Mattina, who was on the queen of Sequester.
That's the woman you saw. Yeah, that's the woman, the blonde-haired woman that I saw. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I was in finals for this season. Just saying, I was almost there.
You were. They could have cast you, and then they said "fuck off." Oh my God.
So I don't know, maybe a future season or something, but it's very good so far.
Well, if they're I have to say, if they're in a house now, I would actually consider applying. And I have to say, she has Audrey. I'm talking about Audrey Middleton. She has taken something that I think. I'm like, I keep it real with you guys. I feel like in the beginning, people looked at it as a copy of Big Brother, and it was just with a different name. But it has evolved into something that is her own, and that is the community zone at this point. So she's kept her nose to the grindstone and really like ironed out all the kinks and gotten it to a point where it is its own flesh and blood entity. And I congratulate her, and I wish her nothing but the best. She also did an interview on the Terrence show, which was really fun, and you can check that out on his channel. I think the Terrence show is coming back in a few weeks. Bitch needs some time off, so he's been off for the holidays.
We totally understand that, considering like I listened to his voice more this summer than my mother's voice on the phone.
$2,500 prize money. Oh my god, I'm so in.
It's really like a well polished like product now. And she was like even on our show a few weeks ago, and to talk about Big Brother 20. And it was just really cool to see like how passionate she is about this project.
I feel like the projects that I like, this is, I don't, this is partially why I came on you guys, because I fucking love you guys too. But I wanted to come on. But like things that like have promise, like I feel like we should have more eyeballs on them, so I want more people to watch you. I want more people to watch Sequester. I mean, like, that's fucking great. I mean, like, you got $25 prize money, all those people living in a house, they rented that house, that costs money, taping it costs money, manpower, all of that. And who knows, I don't know if any of these people did it for free or what the fuck was going on, but my god, that's a really great product to put together. So kudos to you.
It's amazing to me because when I played Sequester, it was online. It was I think it was like 8-9 days straight from 9 to 11 at night you played. And I like the new way they're doing Sequester now, where they are in a house and they don't know what people are doing, because when you're playing the online Sequester, every night when I would log off, my mom's calling me, my sister-in-law's texting me, do you know what so-and-so was coming after you?
Yeah, it's very easy to like explain it.
And you don't see it yourself. It's all secondhand news. So it's like now these people who have played Sequester are kind of forced to really play. Not that they didn't play before, but it's a different kind of playing because you aren't aware. Because social media to me was always the 17th, person playing in the contestant in the game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, it's been fun. You guys got anything else?
Thank you.
I'm in the RHAP Secret Santa exchange, and I'm like cursing myself because I'm like, Brent, why the fuck did you sign up for this? I've got to get this person a gift.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm just I think I'm gonna go over to my mom's house tomorrow and do online shopping for my niece and nephew. My niece wants a Barbie dream house. You know that motherfucker is $179.
Oh,
She's
I'm sure.
6 years old. She wants a Barbie dream house.
But I said it's not the same dream house from when we were kids, made out of plastic and cardboard.
It's got a slide and a pool, Allison. So they moved up in the world. Yes. But we're going to buy it for, I always said, like, I obviously don't have kids of my own. My partner has kids, but I don't have kids. And I'm like, I always want to give my sister her kids, basically, not that I had a bad childhood, because I had a great childhood, but I never got everything I wanted. And like for their Christmas, like, because like I was thinking about like there was another Barbie dream house, but it was not the same thing. And I was like, maybe I could buy this because it was like only like $59. But my mom was like, well, they talked about the slide in the pool, and I'm like, oh motherfucker. So now they're gonna know if I try to chintz on them, they're gonna know, and I don't want them to think I chintzed on them. So I'm gonna buy the whole thing. So $179. I tried to get it for cheaper on Cyber Monday, but there were no sales. So
yeah,
but that's what makes you the best uncle on the planet.
Yeah, well, right. I'm gonna try.
But before we go, we'll sign off. But I'd like to chat for a minute after we sign off, if that's okay.
She doesn't want you people here. That's what she's saying. She wants the chat room. You can fuck off. We got some private shit to go over.
Angela fans, yeah.
Yes, I need to pick up my check. What? I'm not being paid? What? I'm sorry.
The little spies can exit left, or right, or whatever. How can people find if they're in here tonight and they don't know who you are? Which
I know. I found some people.
How can they find you in social media and follow
The only way you can find me is you can find me at One Lucky Gay. It's a play on the words one lucky guy, but it's one lucky gay, and it's one spelled out. So it's all one word, ONELUCKYGAY, at One Lucky Guy. I'm sorry. I fucked it up. At One Lucky Gay, and I don't think I've ever said One Lucky Guy in my life besides tonight. At One Lucky Gay across all platforms. So you'll find me mainly on Twitter, but you can also find me, or you can asshole find me at Instagram and Snapchat. I am at One Lucky Gay on Instagram and Snapchat. Basically, in Twitch, I'm One Lucky Gay everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it.
You are the one lucky gay without the.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Tyler, how can people find you?
Yeah, everybody can find me on Twitter at TLyonz, TLYONZZ. That's where all my like reality TV stuff I talk about. And I'm also a wedding photographer, so if you need some wedding photos, I'm cheap and I'm good. So follow me at Scratch Studios NY on Instagram to see me there.
Very good.
Yeah, he's definitely cheap.
In more ways than
drunken stories.
Yeah.
I get those middle of the night texts. But anyway.
Yes, you do.
Guys, if you want to find me, I am on Instagram at the.memphis.darling. I am on Twitter at Summers, SOMMERS 1977. And please subscribe to my weekly meltdown on YouTube. It would mean a lot to us.
No, it means a lot to me. That's why I came over here. So bitches, if you're in the chat, I should have said this at the beginning. You need to subscribe to this bitch. You need to hit the subscription button and hit the notifications button. She always goes live before Rob, so you can check her out for at least 10 or 15 minutes before Rob goes live, because, you know, Rob never's on time. So, like, Rob, you can at least get here for 15 minutes and listen to the shit. And then if you got to go over KIA, is fine, and then you can come back.
Yes.
But, listen to this, and I will try to come back by whenever I can. And like I said, it should be
we would
fun.
love that. We would absolutely love to have you again. Maybe during Celebrity Big Brother, you can stop by and we can talk about that. But whenever, we would love to have you. Yes, please subscribe. I've been building this channel for 3 years, and I absolutely appreciate all the support from everyone. I was gonna say, when I started doing this 3 years ago, I did it by myself. And I edited it. I did everything by myself. It was, oh my God, crazy. But I actually went to Rob, because I've been following him for, I think, 5 years now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think it's longer for me, but yeah.
Yeah, and I found him on iTunes. I just started listening, and I'd been a part of some previous actual podcasts, and we didn't do YouTube. And then I decided to go on my own and do this, mainly because he was my inspiration. So after I did my show for a little bit, I wasn't getting any traction. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to send him an email. He responded to my email the same day. And he said, you know, he gave me the link, let me look at it. And he looked at it and he gave me some pointers. And one of the things that he said was, why don't you try going live on YouTube sometime? You know, maybe get a friend on with you and see what happens, and just talk, just be natural, just do your thing. And of course, it took me a few years to do it. And here I am now. And I guess he's just the nicest guy. You know, if it hadn't been for him, I don't know if I would have ever met Brent, you know. But and I'm so thankful to him. He's such a nice guy. And that's why I take it personal when anybody comes after anyone on that show. Whether it be Tara and Brent, Melissa with 3 A's, all of them, I get a little upset. Okay.
Well, Rob is great. And remember, like, I was listening to Rob before you, because I know that when I was listening to Rob was in the fucking basement with his wife. I can't remember, this is when he was in his apartment, you know, when he said live from my apartment on Spreecast. That's when I remember, like, the first show with Stephen Fishback was on Spreecast. And like Alec, or there was a guy who was in Game Changers. It was like Alex Hostenpfeffer, or you remember the name of the guy? Hostin, maybe the chat can tell me. There's a guy who's a friend of Stephen Fishback's, who was also somebody that was talked about as a friend of a friend with Andrea in Game Changers, I think. Yes. Oh, it all runs together. It all runs together, people.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the
Alex Hostenizer. I can't remember his name. It's a really funky name. Anyway, so Steven was like going over to Alex's house to get the Wi-Fi to get on the show, because he didn't even have Wi-Fi at his house at the time. It was so
God.
I wrote like a little like indignant letter to Rob, like, does he even take this seriously? Like, what the hell's going on? And Rob actually wrote back to me. He was like, I think it was just his first time. Like, he takes it seriously. And ever since then, I've been a fan of RHAP. So I was like, I think I listened to Rob like a good 2 years when Brian Lynch was the live feed correspondent. Brian, if you're out there, love you. But Brian, when Brian left the show, I was like, you know what? That's my in right there.
Yeah.
And I did Big Brother Canada and haven't looked back since. So it's been a fun time. Like I said, we just taped RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 4 draft last night. We go over the entire cast list of RuPaul's Drag Race with Mike Bloom and Liana Boris. So that will be out, if not tonight, then sometime tomorrow or Friday. And by the way, just as a weird aside, if you happen to be in the Detroit area, I'm going to be, I have a YouTube channel devoted to slots. It's Brent's Lucky Slot channel. And I am going to be live with my friend SD Guy up in Detroit at the MGM Detroit and Jack's up there on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So if you happen to live in that area and you want to come by, send me a tweet. I'll tell you where we're at, and you can come meet me and have some fun. Okay?
That's awesome. Yeah. And please subscribe. If you've never heard of Rob Has a Podcast or RHAP, go look up Rob Has a Podcast on YouTube and please subscribe. It's an amazing show. We love it. It's brought us all together. And like I said, you can subscribe to my channel if you feel like it too. Listen to us at work whenever during the day. You don't have to always watch us live. That's what some of our people do. And I also have my weekly meltdown on Facebook if you want to go over there and like it. It's cool. Facebook. I know how you young kids don't do the Facebook, but come on, throw me a phone over here. And also, Brent, go.
Yes, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Uh-oh. Allison.
I didn't mute her, I swear.
I hate you.
Oh, no, wait.
I did.
You're back. You had to shorten your mic for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
When Rob talks about these cat ladies that watch the show, I'm one of those cat ladies. It's me. I'm the cat lady.
Yes. I see in the background. They look lovely.
Yeah, I have cats. But anyway, I'm trying to get my cat Finley has become popular, and I'm trying to get him followers on Instagram. Like I've created Instagram, so I have to whore out my cat real quick. Please subscribe follow my cat Finley on Instagram. It's Finley's Insty, and it's FINLESY_INSTI. He's just a tabby. He's fat and useless.
Yes.
But fun to look at. He's more popular than I am. I don't know.
I subscribe to a lot of cat Instagrams. There's actually a lady called Kitten_Faces who she takes care of all these foster kittens. And every week she has new kittens in the house. They're one of them is 1 week old. And she's feeding it with a bottle in the middle of the night. She's an absolute fucking saint. But I love her channel so much because you get to follow the kittens along the way, and she gives updates for the kittens. And they did this really cool thing. I'm sorry, I'll shut up and then I'll stop talking. They did this thing where they had this mama cat called Mayflower, and then they had she had 3 kittens, right? So she was breastfeeding them for 4 weeks or so. And then the mama who was taking care of them started to wean the kittens off, but she hadn't fully done it yet. Right then, the foster place, which is where all the kittens come from, called and said, we have this mom. She has rejected her 3 kittens. And the father apparently was her brother. So, they weren't even sure if the kittens were going to survive. But the mom will not take care of them. So they thought they could do a little switch and see if Mayflower would adopt them. And they have all this great video of her, the lady put a little, at first Mayflower was very uninterested in the new kittens. But then they put a little of milk on each forehead of the little 1 week old kittens, because they needed to nurse. These were kittens that needed to nurse. The bottle wasn't going to do it. And she started licking them and totally adopted them. And so all of a sudden, Mayflower has 3 new kittens, and she's still producing milk. So it was the sweetest fucking thing I've ever seen. If you, like I said, I'm not getting paid for this. It's just somebody who I like. It's kitten_faces on Instagram. She updates like 2 or 3 times a day, and really, really, really great stories on there. So I would follow that if you could too.
I have someone else who likes cats, because Deborah's also a cat lady too. Tyler hates cats.
I'm a dog person.
Yeah, I don't like dogs. Dogs are too much work.
Yeah, he doesn't. He ignores my cute pictures of my cat that I send him. He doesn't even acknowledge them, but I still. But yes, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We would love to have you again. Hopefully, you can stop by again in the future. And I think that's about it. We're gonna sign off. Tyler and I will be back, and hopefully with Deb and Kyle will be joining us next Wednesday be back at our regular time at 9/8 Central. We'll be covering the latest episode of Survivor. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. We love it. We love the support, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.